first name is Damon, my last name is Shaw. That's kind of where DJ Dash came from. I took those first two initials, but I represent myself as an entity of his own. So I'm known as your favorite DJ, DJ Dash, AKA Baby Jazzy Jeff. Like there's no limits to what it is, but Dash as itself is, it's an embracement of just an embodiment of movement of music. That's how I actually think about my name, at least the concept when I came up with it. DJing for me is like always been something I did, but I didn't realize at the time, I guess, I was DJing. Like my mom used to throw a lot of adult parties and stuff in the backyard, and I'm like, I wasn't allowed to go to these things. I'm sitting aside like, man, I want to go to these parties. So I'm like, how can I get out there without necessarily being involved in the parties? So I'd take a mixer and a speaker, another mixer and a speaker, and then I have two computers running off Windows Media Player. And then and have one song play it to the end, switch it over to the other song off the other speaker. And it was like, I just had to find a way to get myself involved. But as I was a musician for one point, and every story is everybody wants to be a rapper. So sat down with my mom one day and she was like, look, come up with, she's like, you're good, but come up with something because every little black boy wants to be a rapper. I'm like, you're right. Next best thing to me was DJing, because at that point I could still make music and still love it, but at the same time, I don't need someone to represent me or play my music when I can do it myself. Locally, rest in peace, shout out to DJ Sin. He's a member of the Conglomerate DJs. This is one of my mentors. He was a DJ from Canada, and he did reggaeton and hip hop. So the first thing I learned how to really get into was like the reggaeton scene. DJ Don Q is another amazing DJ. Technically, one of the most technically sound DJs I've ever heard. DJ Godfather, another great DJ. DJ Chrome. Now these are local guys. But outside of like the big name guys, Jazzy Jeff will always be the greatest DJ that I have ever experienced. Like I've gotten to see him just as close as anybody else would be sitting in a front row concert. So seeing that, like, and taking that experience in and pulling all that in, I've never seen anybody do at least what he did musically, emotionally with the crowd, like all in one package. It's not about the flair and the trick sometimes. It's about, as a DJ, how you can take one set of people, no matter if they're black, white, Puerto Rican, or Asian, and make them all feel like they're all the same in that moment.
All about how. Now this is a story all about how. Now this is a story all about my life turned up down, and I'd like the manager said, I tell you, became the prince of a town. Here we go now.
I love when people say, stay in your lane. I believe in creating a lane, because I was taught when you don't have an option, when you ran out of solutions, you create one. If you can imagine it, there's a possibility. DJing for me, I take it a little differently than a lot of people may. Like in my head, I don't compete with the people in my city. And no offense, but they mean nothing to me. I respect them all, but they mean nothing to me because I want to work as hard as the people in California, the people in New York, the people in Germany, the people in Australia. I'm trying to compete with everyone who's really doing it, because if I'm only working as hard as the next person, then who's to say they're really working hard? You let people, with all the social media and the way the world is now, you give people exactly what you want them to see. So my life could be great, but I can make it look like I'm worth 100,000, but I'm only worth 10,000. You see, the flair means nothing. My motto is, you don't have to like me, you ain't gotta know me, just pay me. So with that being said, my goal is to always perfect the craft. Like I want to bring back that idea of how DJs were back in the 70s and 80s, where it was about the DJ. Like people forgot that the DJs brought the artists onto what they were on. Like even now in the US, it's about the artist. The artist, if there's a good artist, that artist will put that DJ on. For example, Big Sean. Big Sean is an amazing Detroit artist, and Mo Beats is an amazing Detroit DJ. But nobody gave him the real recognition that man deserved at the time until Sean took him overseas, and people was like, man, you're DJ. And he's like, yeah, I told you guys in the beginning, nobody want to listen to me, but yeah, the man's hot. But for overseas, it's different. They respect the DJ. The boiler room sets, all this. If the DJ says, man, this artist is hot, they're like, yeah, I believe you because you're good at what you do. So I want to bring back that idea of the DJs matter, because in some heads it's, you know, DJing for some people is going out and buying $10,000 worth of gear. Yeah, you can do that, but does it really make you a DJ or does it make you a hobbyist? I quit my day job like 9 years ago to make sure that this was not a hobby for me. So like this is how I eat, sleep, breathe, live, like all piece of life. So for me, DJing is a real world thing, so.
Yo, you already know what it is, man. It's your boy Miller Boy, and you tuning into the hottest DJ in the streets, DJ Dash. What up, though?
One more time, baby, do it, make it crack. Yeah, you supermodel. Bustin' out the
I pull up with a Kerry Washington.
I'm like an open book with my life story, because I love to talk about it, because I could be the stereotypic stigma or like the product of my environment. Like no father type situation, mother was doing her thing, you know, the stereotypic 90s thing, didn't matter about her kids, doing drugs type deal, and I was adopted. And the woman who raised me had 2 biologicals, she brought in 4 more. Strongest woman I know, she raised us all. Got my degree in nursing. Decided to do music because, again, I did that to make her happy, but at the same time to have a degree to fall back on if my plan A didn't work. I don't want a plan B because I expect plan A to work. I love that because of the fact that that just shows that it doesn't matter where you're from or what you do, it's literally about your mindset. Because I could have fell back into what my old family, I still know my family very well, could have fell back into the same scene, doing it, you know, falling into the streets. Just because that's where you're from and that's where your people from and that's what you know doesn't mean that that's the only thing that you have to know. Whether DJing works out for me or however, you know, life puts it, I got a chance to live my dream, and I'm living my dream currently. And a lot of people wake up and they go to work every day and they hate what they do. Now, I get stressed out when I'm there. I may get a little annoyed with the night and how things go, but I love what I do and I wouldn't change it. Like, there's nothing, you couldn't pay me any amount of money, hence why I gave up my master's in nursing. Like, I chose to be broke. I love the artist lifestyle and I love what I do, because so at that point I know that the money and everything that comes back up, it comes up, because I've been doing it 9 years strong and I haven't had to worry about anything. So at this point, it can only get better. Those little recognitions helped me get to the point where I've DJed for 50 Cent 3 times. I've got a chance to DJ for Flo Rida. I've gotten a chance to DJ for Timberland. Like, so being in the Detroit scene, having those people recognize me and see me for doing it, those are the same people who would call me back like, man, you were loyal, you did this setup for X, Y, and Z, and you looked out for me, so let me look out for you and do something back. And I was like, man, I never expected you to do that. But like, Detroit as a whole, I love it. I love my city. I think the only thing we need to do differently as artists and musicians is come together more, especially the DJs. We need to come together more, because you go to any other place and you're like, I'm from Detroit, and they're like, come here, let me love you. Like, they don't care how good you are. And I think it needs to be that here, because we're at the point where they want us. And Detroit is about to become people say the baby Chicago. No, Detroit's about to become the baby Vegas. Like, they're coming here, they're scouting now. And this is what we've been saying that they weren't doing for the longest, and now they want the Detroit artists. They're looking for Detroit artists with good mindsets who they can dump their money into and don't have to worry about them going back into the streets and just blowing it all. Like that. So the point of it now, at least, is to make sure that as sensible artists that we grasp that and keep that in.
1985 by a road.
There's a place that I feel like that created me and will at least help create me, that I would wish that it would return, but I'm glad it's gone, which is the Yellow Wall. Long live the Yellow Wall. The Yellow Wall, I created some of the best relationships that I know. It put me in a position to where I am, and I kind of wish that there could be a new way to curate that. But with the way Detroit is now, I don't think the Yellow Wall is for this era. Yeah, like this era kids. They wouldn't understand it. But the Yellow Wall was a place where no matter who you were, artist, painter, DJ, dancer, photographer, it was that place you knew no matter what day it was, how it was going, you could go there and find someone to network with, and you could get something done that was productive. Shout out to Myron for that, because he created something that no one will ever in the city of Detroit, in my opinion, ever be able to replicate. So this is your favorite DJ, DJ Dash, and I'm gifted to DJ.
I arrived. 30 years, damn, I wasn't supposed to get past 25. Wasn't supposed to get past 25. Jokes on you, motherfucker.
I am going to fill out the 2020 census. I'm tired of being in this city for the last 16 years, having found people in the city for the last 35 years, and still feeling like I don't belong, and hearing people asking me, well, where are you from? Where is your community and where do you live? Then doing research and seeing that the first Black immigrant in these communities have been here since 1826. So if I'm being asked today if I'm a newcomer, when I know that history say we have been here since 1826, what's missing? For me right now, if we have any funds for my community, it's going to be something new, a new resource to use, because we never had one, because we weren't accounted before. So it's new possibilities, that's what I'm looking at right now. Now, you have been in the community for 20, 30 years, we need to know that you are here. And filling out the census is going to allow us to know that, and it's important, it's the first step. And then visibility and representation is important. From there, you can build on. So I am Sadie Sarr, founder of ABISA, African Bureau for Immigration and Social Affairs. We are here in Detroit, and I'm asking all Black immigrants that are in the city of Detroit to fill out the census so we can now really occupy our seat at the table and be counted. Be counted, Detroit.
Mom's out getting her hair done, so I decided I had to come in the kitchen, of course, and make another meal. But I'm Jay Lauren, a 13-year-old who loves to cook healthy food. So I decided I'd share it with you. Now today, I'm gonna be making stuffed green peppers. Let's get into the recipe. So for this recipe, I'm gonna be using some green peppers, so I'm gonna use about 4 of those. Then we have some diced red bell pepper, diced red onion, some sliced mushrooms, chopped kale. I'm using a variety of beans. I have kidney and black beans right there. Then we're going to be using some quinoa. This is tricolor quinoa. Nutritional yeast, crushed tomatoes, ketchup, garlic, minced garlic, and then I'm going to be using some spices. So for my spices, I have some black pepper, crushed red pepper, sea salt, and then I have these 2 spice mixes, New Orleans seasoning and Cajun Creole. For the quinoa, I'm using quinoa because quinoa is a great source of fiber, and it also has a good amount of protein in it. For every 4th cup, it has 6 grams of protein. And each pepper is gonna have a little bit more than a 4th cup, so that's a good amount of protein. And we also have beans, which are also full of protein. Now let's get on into the recipe. So I'm starting off by sauteing all of these veggies, including the garlic, and a little bit of water. You can use oil if you like, but I prefer water. So first we're gonna add in all the veggies. We're also gonna add in the garlic. And don't forget that all of the measurements in the full recipe will be down in the description box. Now we're gonna just saute this up. Now I'm using kale because kale, it's a nice leafy green. It's full of iron and it has protein, since everybody's worried about protein. It has protein in it as well. So I'm gonna be using nutritional yeast, and what's great about nutritional yeast is it's full of B vitamins, those vitamins are typically the ones that vegans most likely will be deficient in. So B12 is a really big one, B6, and vitamin B1, those are all in nutritional yeast. So I highly recommend this. Now, if you guys would like, how I used to make stuffed peppers is I'd use rice instead, but for this recipe, I decided to use quinoa because it's a little bit healthier. You could also use like a vegan ground crumble. I know Trader Joe's has some. If you want to use like a ground beef type thing, you want more of a meaty texture, you can do that instead. But I decided not to. I'm making a healthier version. All right, these look, the onions are nice and translucent, and the garlic and all the other veggies are really fragrant. So we're gonna start adding in everything else. I'm gonna add in my beans here. Like I said, black beans and kidney beans. We're also gonna add in some of these crushed tomatoes. I'll add in more if needed. At this time, we can also add in some of the quinoa. Oh my God, this looks amazing. So we're gonna add just a little bit more quinoa because right now it's a little bit wet. At this time, we can also add in our ketchup, and we're gonna add in the spices. Now with the crushed red pepper, you can add more or less. It just depends all upon your spice level. I like spicy though. And also same with the salt, you can do as much or as little salt as you'd like. I just like enough salt to bring out all the flavors. So now it's time to assemble. So what you need to do is you're gonna start with one of your little bell peppers. They're perfect because they have a nice amount of space on the inside, but you can even get jumbo peppers and they'll have even more space. That means more goodness inside. There's one done. Now all 4 of our peppers are stuffed and they look beautiful and so delicious, and I cannot wait to eat them, but we are not done. I know you guys are wondering what we're gonna do with this nutritional yeast, right? So what I would usually do if I was non-vegan, I would use cheese on top and then we'd put it in the oven and get it all crispy, ooey, and gooey. Now you could use vegan cheese if you'd like, but remember this is a healthier option. So we're gonna be using nutritional yeast. What's great about nutritional yeast is that it has a nice cheesy flavor to it. And if you wanna step this up just a little bit more, you can do a cashew like Parmesan cheese with nutritional yeast, cashews, and a little bit of salt, and put that on top instead of just plain nutritional yeast. But we're just gonna use the nutritional yeast today. Now I'm just gonna grab this pan and we're gonna put our peppers in there. This recipe is so versatile, you could honestly do whatever you want. If you really want to, you can make like a curry filling instead of this like tomato-y based filling. It could be curry, that'd be amazing with like chickpeas and stuff. Try it out. Now we're gonna place it in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes or just until the pepper gets nice and crispy, or if you're using cheese, until your cheese gets nice and bubbly and golden brown. Now we're gonna start cleaning up because good chefs, they always clean as they cook. Now we're all cleaned up and I think our peppers are done, so let's go grab them. Perfect. These just look amazing. Cannot wait to eat. Oh my God. I hope everybody tries out this recipe. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do try out the recipe, of course, take a picture on Instagram and tag me in it at j_vegansoul. And don't forget to follow me.
Oh, I'm telling on you.
Not again. Bye, guys.
Detroit is a city on the move. With new developments attracting people from all over, the city has become brighter and the streets have become busier. To provide drivers safe and efficient travel to each destination, the Detroit Police Department urges those who live, work, and play in this great city to not block the box. Improper use of four-way intersections can pose a number of concerns to drivers, pedestrians, public transportation, even first responder vehicles. Signs have been posted in high-volume traffic intersections throughout the downtown area to spread a message of awareness, safety, and prevention, reminding drivers to not block the box.
So in corporate America, I just noticed that we all looked like we were in school together, like we were in a uniform. Everyone seemed to wear either the power colors, the yellow ties, the red tie, or just the blue tie. And I just wanted to separate myself from everybody else. And I always like to be different. And one day I just decided to go to a state meeting completely dressed differently from everyone else and wore a bow tie. And that bow tie received a ton of compliments all day long. And from that point on, I just started wearing bow ties every day. And even when I started my business, I said, you know what? When I started making these bow ties and I start offering things and get me a store, the one thing I'm gonna do is make sure that I'm not in a position where I'm giving everybody the same thing. And what I mean by that is you walk into a department store and you see a yellow tie, but behind that yellow tie is 25 more of them. Next to that blue tie is 25 behind those. It's like, if I'm gonna go shopping, I don't wanna end up in the same thing with somebody else as soon as I leave here. They're gonna have on the same thing. Eventually I'm gonna bump into them. Detroit's not that big. So I always said, you know what, if I make something but very exclusive, you may see the same bow tie over there, but I bet it's a different shape. You won't find two of the same unless I'm doing it for a wedding party, his and hers, a father and son. Those would be the reasons I would make something as a duplicate as opposed to being creative with the fashion or the bow ties. One point in time, Detroit was known as one of the fashion meccas, is the way I look at things. We have everything from pictures of our relatives like grandfathers, uncles, and so forth, who really dress to the nines on a regular basis. And if you look back as far as even baseball games, guys left the house in fedoras and a full suit. So therefore, our city has always been known and represented very well for fashion. And when it came to guys dressing up, we really were at the cream of the crop at one point in time. And I think that Detroit has also taught me my swag of, you know, to be comfortable in my own skin, because you go certain places and people will know the way you dress, like, oh man, you got that Detroit look. I'm okay with that. I can take that compliment because I can take my Detroit look and I can go anywhere. So whether it be going to a 9 to 5, whether it be leaving there, taking my wife to dinner, or whether it be just going a night on the town, I feel like my dress is fly enough to be able to go anywhere and withstand, you know, being complimented as opposed to looked down upon, or maybe like you shouldn't have wore that. I'm always comfortable. I don't consider you can be overdressed for any event. I do want us to get back into that era of the gentleman, whereas he wore suits and wore fedoras and cared about his appearance. I think that in our world right now, people unfortunately judge you within the first couple of seconds that they meet you based off of your appearance. However, sometimes wearing a suit and tie does make a difference on how you're dressed, how you're treated. And I just think that when we dress better, we actually feel better, and we act better too as well. So a lot of nonsense wouldn't happen, because who wants to mess up a nice pair of threads? So I would like to see us come back, but in order for that to happen, we do need more clothing stylists. We need more stores available for people to shop in, and not just giving what the world wants to see on social media or who's wearing what, and then, because that's more like a trend, you know, and those trends eventually die. Whereas fashion itself is here to stay, because if you even look at it now, everybody who's wearing something who considers to be fashionable, they're pulling pieces from the older days. They're not just coming up with new stuff, they're not creating. It's like they're recreating what was already out there. I pray for a legacy that I'm building for my family, to be able to say this is what Miguel started for us, and this can carry over, because I feel like the suit and tie, that option is never gonna die. I mean, so whether it be wedding, funeral, job interview, corporate America goes back to suit and tie every day, that's just something that has to be done. And it's a need, whether it be in the schools, your uniforms that you have to wear. So where do you go to get those things from? Where do you go to get properly dressed? So it's something that I want to start and be able to leave behind and say, this is what I started. You work hard to have a name. I just want that name to carry on. I don't want it to stop with just me. I want it to keep moving.
If you like this episode and want to see more, follow us at City of Detroit. Check out more stories from the neighborhoods at Stories from DET, and tap into featured events in the city on Instagram and YouTube at Burst Detroit.